right, Madridistas, how are you? This is Christian Paredes, founding member of Peña Madridista Sur de California, and I'm joined with two very, very special guests of Executive Madridismo. We got Daniel Polanco, captain of Peña Madridista Boston, and Cesar Orozco, vice president of Peña Madridista San Francisco Bay Area. Danny, how are you? How are you doing?
Chris, how you doing, my brother? How's things going? Thank you for having me again. I love coming in the show and talking about the best team in the world, as always. So thank you for having me.
Thanks very much. And I have a mug that says "Best Team in the World, Real Madrid" with a big logo on it. So I was drinking my tea this morning, and I had that thing right around. I'm like, oh, it's a good morning so far.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, man. Cesar, how are you doing up there in the Bay Area?
Good morning, guys. Good morning. We're doing good. It's a little soggy up here this morning. Started raining last night a little bit, so it's good. It's cold. Probably not as cold as up in with you guys, Danny, but it's good. We're happy. We're healthy. We're safe, and that's all we can ask for these days.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Cesar, for joining us. This is really great.
Thank you for the invite. It's an honor.
Safe and sound. All right. It's great to get together, chat about Real Madrid. So let's start off. So we got the game that happened against Borussia Monchengladbach, which is the last group game for Real Madrid in Champions League. That was a 2-0 victory. Cesar, let me start with you. Before the game, you're talking with your fellow members. What was it like leading into this game? What were your expectations? What did you think?
There was a little bit of uncertainty, to be honest. I think that the team came on and played perhaps the best 90 continuous minutes we've had all season, and before that I had not seen it, so I was a little hesitant to chalk up a victory because of how tight the group stage was altogether. I think that it turned out to be a group of death, a grupo de la muerte in so many ways, but not because of the high caliber teams that you may be expecting in some of these, but because everybody kept stealing points away from each other. So it literally was a coin toss, and whether we could have ended up first, which turned out to happen, or we could have ended up in Europa. So it was literally a very difficult way to assess, because we took points away from those that took points away from the ones we lost against. So it was hard to predict for me.
Yeah, of course. It was definitely a must-win, too, because we tied in Germany, and we had to get a win to ensure our foot in round of 16. Danny, what did you think of the game itself? 2 beautiful goals by Karim Benzema. I mean, he definitely showed up along with the other vets, right?
Yeah, no, I think the game, going into the game, you're obviously nervous because we hadn't had the result we wanted in the first leg of the series with the team. However, I think that the addition of having a structure within the lineup, which is what I love, that exact lineup that we had, having Karim pulling up for us, and I think we still needed to do a lot of things that we could have done better. But those are the shots that I'm talking about, just crosses and going in, not playing too much around the box. They did that very well, and that's how you get scores. So I think, coming into talking about overall the group stage, obviously not the way we wanted to come out. I mean, we were obviously the number 1 seed coming out of that, but I think that, we have to feel positive about what we have accomplished, and going into the round of 16, I think we know already what we need to work on. So it was a good game. I think there was, still a lot of things that need to be worked on. I mean, can we talk about just how much of an influence Lucas Vázquez has had in the lineup too? I mean, I think he's got a couple good games so far, and so just playing around with the lineups as Zidane's done it, I think it's been positive. So we have to just keep going, and I think it's going to be tougher obviously, but we'll make sure to do whatever we can to get some goals in. I mean, I think they're doing the right thing. They got on the right path, and it's going to be a tougher draw and a tougher round of 16. So you just have to be ready for those games.
You're absolutely correct about that. I mean, this is exactly why Champions League is so difficult to win year in, year out. You don't know who you're going to run into. You don't know how the teams are going to be. This was a group that I thought in the beginning, when the draw came out, it was a difficult group, matchup-wise, for Real Madrid. I thought that Shakhtar Donetsk was a very difficult matchup. They ended up sweeping Inter Milan. I thought we matched up well with them. We swept them. Borussia, you know, they were winning 2-0. We came back and saved the tie, which really was crucial, really crucial. And then the last group game, which just happened, Madrid, you know, with the veterans leading the way, Zidane preparing these guys, they treated it like it was a final, and boy, did they ever. I mean, they were on top of it. I mean, careers were on the line in that game. No doubt about it. Can you imagine the chatter that was going on about Real Madrid in Europa League? In Europa League, you're hearing the chorus coming up, but that's the team just did not happen. It did not go that way, and we're in another round of 16. I think it's number 18 in a row.
Yep.
16.
That's right.
Not only that, it was the first time in 5 years we won the group. So it was amazing to see us reclaiming that. I know the group didn't go the way we planned it initially, but we took that top seed. And it's amazing because just to see some of the potential teams we could have faced against had we gone second, it would have been almost a repeat of last year. I mean, it's top calibers at the top of the groups in every single one of them.
Yeah. Dan, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I think that it was, like I said, we have to look at it positively. I know we heard, you know, as being Real Madrid fans, we heard it all over social media. We heard it all over our ears from our counterparts saying we're going to go to the Europa League. And, you know, obviously it gets under your skin. But I think that's what makes this team great, is that they know what they have to do when it comes to crucial games, right? They know what they have to do. Zidane knows that there's no panic in his eyes. I mean, you look at it, the guy, you know, knows how to manage the team well. And he showed it. We've seen the results. I mean, that was a crucial game to be won, and we came out on top. I'm telling you, I've had, you know, obviously counterparts that said, you know what, I don't think Real Madrid's even getting out of the group, you know, and saying, you know, they're not even going to win the group. They're not going to even get to this top of passing the group stage. But you know what? That's another reason why Zidane is one of the greatest managers in the world, because he knows what to do. He knows how to make the movements in the lineup needed to get the wins. And that's what you saw right in that game, you know? So again, that's another proof. I think we have to acknowledge what the man has done in crucial situations, you know? And so, and again, I think it's going to be a tougher, you know, next couple of weeks to try to prepare, but you have to prepare, and they do it well. So again, I don't doubt that that we'll go out as easy as people think, and at this time, I think, you know, going back, I don't want to refresh things, but like Varane, I think he needs to do a better job. He hasn't been doing well. And we don't want to repeat what happened with Man City this past last season. So
no, of course, and we have to make sure that Sergio Ramos plays. I mean, that's the thing, is that we didn't have him back-to-back years in round of 16, second leg. And look how different it is. And now what people need to understand is that Madrid won in Sevilla before the Borussia game. So the great form began there.
Oh yeah,
they were.
Agreed.
That was a quality win on the road in La Liga against a team that's aspiring for La Liga title. They are a Champions League rival. They're going to the round of 16 just like us. And then we have, you know, now let's move forward a little bit. And you have the derby that happened where we played in Valdebebas against Atlético, another 2-0 victory. So 3 victories in a row without allowing a goal, by the way. So kudos to Courtois and the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, I don't know if Cesar has the same, you know, sort of analysis on Varane, but I think that, you know, in the league games, everything's been good so far. They've been keeping it, you know, a clean sheet. But when it comes to Champions Leagues, I think, you know, that defensive line needs to make a little bit more homework. And, you know, having Ramos back, having him healthy, it definitely helps. But, you know, I still think Varane needs to, you know, maintain, you know, his defensive line better. He doesn't do a good job communicating, and I don't want a repeat of last year where he made the same mistake twice in the same game. That was horrendous.
Yeah.
And that's
sorry. What did you think of the derby? Coming out and the way that we began the game. I mean, they were firing on all cylinders, right?
Oh yeah, no, the team was literally playing at the best they could. I think the midfield that Kroos, Modric, and Casemiro, it dated back to, it reminded me a lot of that 2017 season, our last Champions League winner season, where they were passing and communicating without saying anything. They knew exactly where they were going to find each other. Luka Modric is playing like he's 10 years younger than what he really is. I find that amazing. And one thing, going back to the defense a little bit, and again, it dates back literally to Sevilla. I think that the momentum started there. Having Sergio Ramos back, right now that the games are a little more quiet as far as the atmosphere itself, you can hear Sergio Ramos calling people out, and you hear that loud whistle from the back as he's calling his players to come back on defense. I feel like Varane missed that. And Varane is a good player, but I think the demons from Manchester are still haunting him. And also, I think that I've known he's not a very vocal player. He's a solid player, but he needs a Ramos there as almost like a safety blanket. So moving on, again, back to the derby, I thought that they both played really well. Bringing back Dani Carvajal onto the defense on right back, it was obviously a huge upgrade. And not to take anything away from Lucas Vazquez, because to be honest, Lucas Vazquez made me acknowledge how much of a hardworking player he is. He can be put up on top or on defense, and I think that although he is a band-aid at right back, he didn't do a bad job. And one of his 2 goals in midweek and Champions against Borussia came from him, and then Rodrigo literally copied that same play to give Benzema the 2-0. So clearly we are attacking well through that right flank.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that we have to point out is that Atletico put out a 5-3-2 formation to begin the game, and they gave up the midfield right away to us. We literally owned possession. We were at 71% at one moment of this game, and Modric, Kroos, Casemiro, Lucas Vazquez coming back to help. I mean, we were literally dominating possession, and even when Atletico had the ball, they were trying to do something. The counter press was excellent. They were
Atletico never looked comfortable.
They were pressuring. It was suffocating, and they couldn't do anything about it. I mean, Luis Suarez was in an island. The ball couldn't even get to him. I think their first shot was in the 55th minute.
Yep, yeah, that's right.
55th minute. I mean, that is incredible defense.
Atleti never looked comfortable, ever. They felt the pressure from the moment up from our pressure started at 3/4 up the field. They literally never came out comfortable with the ball past midfield.
Yeah, and the thing is that the ball, I mean, we were passing it with such great frequency and precision on the ground. And, the field looked like it was very wet. It was unstable. Yet we were the ones moving the ball with triangles, and they were the ones chasing constantly. I think they ran 114 kilometers. They ran 5 more kilometers than we did. But you just didn't, you couldn't tell that we were the ones that were chasing. They were the ones that were doing it, right, Danny? I mean, it was incredible.
I mean, how fantastic it is to know that, with what we were able to accomplish in the midfield, right? Our quarterbacks, right? Casemiro, Modric, Kroos, moving the ball up and forward, controlling that lane, right in the middle, pushing the ball forward. And you can see they were tired. They were really tired because we were moving the ball back and forth. And Lucas Vazquez just couldn't maintain a sort of passing lane everywhere on the field. He was everywhere in the field. I mean, you don't see that from a player like that. And I think coming into, a very sort of competitive La Liga now, we beat the best team in the Champions League and we beat the best team in La Liga. And I think moving forward, knowing that, we had such a control of the game, and so much focus, because you can see everybody was synchronized with each other. They knew where everybody was going. They knew and we made changes almost close to the 80th minute, right? So you can tell that our endurance was way superior. I mean, when João Felix got subbed out, he knew that
it was.
He was upset. Not because he was subbed. I think he was upset because he was frustrated that he couldn't do anything, So there was no choice but to get him out of the game. I mean, you can see what our players were able to do he's an immature player still. But I think having that mentality, mental power over this team that has done a great job in the Champions League, coming into La Liga, having the upper hand in our team, we tattooed all over them. Yeah. And that's the truth. We were able to do something that and again, look at our story, look at our history. They haven't had a defeat since 2014, I think, or 2016. I don't know if you guys can correct me on that stat. but they haven't been able to beat us at home.
Well, the last 6 derbies, they haven't beaten us.
Exactly. So, I mean, if we can maintain that study, because you can tell. I mean, I played soccer, and one of the things that I learned in soccer was like, you know what? We don't have the equipment that we need, like as a professional team, but you remember what the field is, how the players are, and everything. And you know what? They did their homework. Real Madrid did their homework. They knew, look, we're stopping a fantastic striker in Suarez. Like you said, Chris, he was in an island. He couldn't do anything. I mean,
he's playing Survivor by himself.
Exactly, and you can see same issues. You know, I mean, honestly, the best game so far.
Now, I have one objection for this game, just one that I need to point out, is that the substitutions we made at the end, I think they should have been made sooner, and this is the reason why. So, Suarez gets taken out in the 72nd minute. Now, there were 3 changes that Atletico made at the half, which were mainly midfield. The midfield wasn't getting it done. So they revamped the midfield. It didn't do them any good. Then they took out their 2 most threatening forwards, Joao Felix and Suarez, by the 72nd minute. I think that Modric and a couple of these other guys should have been removed in the 75th minute mark. And this is why. Because on Tuesday night, they got to play against Athletic Bilbao. And you have Modric that played 87 minutes here in the derby. You had him play against Borussia Monchengladbach. You had him play against Sevilla. So you're asking him to play 4 straight times because, you know, him and Kroos and Casemiro, they've been on a great roll, but the problem is you don't want these guys to peak so early. And then when you get to March and April, when the games really matter to win titles, and they're burned. What do you think about that, Cesar?
I agree. I feel like I've been a little critical of the subs all season long, to be honest, because I feel like they have been similar always in every game, and the scheme may or may not change a whole lot, but the subs seem to come in late. I agree, particularly when we are making or infrastructure on that starting 11 to be typically the same 9 players. So you're going to burn them out. You cannot play a season of 60-something games with the same 15 players. You have a squad of 25. You have to use it. And I know that they all are not going to give you the same level of responsiveness or quality play, but you have to learn to rotate. And to be honest, maybe we just got spoiled, a few seasons ago when we had that so-called B team that was playing just as incredible as that A team. But if we can get something in that similar form, that would be amazing. And bringing those players coming out of injury again, start rotating them into the lineup. I know that Fede Valverde is coming back around, and I think he is going to have to be a key element in the midfield to make sure that we maintain that rotation coming up with Luka Modric to keep him fresh. He's 35 years old at the end of the day, so I mean, Luka will not be able to give you 90 minutes inside out, and hopefully once Odegaard's back around and fully healthy, he can start helping out in that offensive midfield too. We need to incorporate more players and start bringing them in almost more proactive rather than reactive when the game's got 10 minutes to go, or once the other team put all 5 of their subs in, and we're still trying to figure out who's going to be your number 1 or number 2 sub. Yeah,
and we did this without Eden Hazard, by the way. So if you imagine him being on the field instead of Vinicius, how much more offensively we would have provided. And by the way, Lucas Vazquez in the 89th minute had a shot on goal that got stopped off the block. It would have been a 3-0 win. I mean, when was the last time we saw anything like that since the 2014 Lisbon final, right, guys?
Yeah, it would have been a pulverizing defeat for Atletico.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you boys. I think that the changes should have been made earlier in the game because they were playing so well all around. You know, having that, advantage of saying, you know what, we have players, right, that we can utilize because we have an advantage already. I mean, we were better conditioned than than our counterpart. You can clearly see it. And, and I think, I mean, by the way, it would have been a 4-0 game if it wasn't for that. I don't know who took that shot that hit the crossbar. Right.
Oh, that was Benzema.
Benzema.
It was Benz, right? It was Benz who took that shot right on the. I mean, it would have been 4-0. That's what I want to see more from our team. Is just taking those one shots. If you see an open shooting lane, just shoot it because you're facing, if not the best goalie in Europe. And
I
you
think
were
he
able
might
to
be the
beat
best
them.
goalie in the world, to be honest. I think
Yeah.
Oblak is far above everyone else, and had he not slightly touched that ball by Benzema, that would have been the 1-0 right to the like in Mexico we call it la casa de la araña, the spider's nest, right there, right in the corner. It was a beautiful shot going up to the upper V.
Yeah. No, I
Well,
mean, you have to,
I mean, I respect what you guys think about Oblak, but I don't think he's the best goalie even in Spain, because the guy that we got behind, in front of the net for us, with a more questionable defense above him, won the Trofeo Zamora for the third time last season in La Liga, and he is on point when he needs to make saves.
absolutely. No, I agree with you, Chris.
Don't
I
disagree.
think overall, I think overall, when you again, we all have our counterparts, right? We all have friends or other people that support other teams, and they all, have the same mentality about Oblak. The best goalie, he's consistent. Yeah, he is. But look at what we've been able to do to him over the past, I don't know, more than 5-6 seasons, right? Always taking control. I mean, again, we have to feel very proud about that result. I mean, it was by far one of the best games I've seen. I mean, obviously, beating Barcelona was incredible. One of the, it's just think
Take
about
that
this,
jab.
boys. Think about this, boys. We've beaten our most hated rivals this season, which is amazing. But I think again, having substitutions at the right times, giving our players a little bit more breathing room, giving more chances to other players. I think having Valverde back in the lineup would be incredible. But we have to be proud of what the team has been able to do, despite all the negative stuff that we've been hearing. That it's not the same.
Well, it's not. Danny, sorry to interrupt, but it's not just what people have been saying. It's the fact of the matter is we've been hit with the injury bug and COVID-19 bug, because we had guys that were injured and still are, by the way, and also guys that were out for COVID-19 because they were exposed and they had to be quarantined for 2 weeks. I mean, that's an additional injury, even though it's not an injury. It's just having to deal with that. And for a lot of people that cover Real Madrid in the media, that's something that I think needs to be mentioned, is that is something that hindered the team in the month of November and even part of October. And so now you're seeing a healthier Real Madrid heading into 2021. And look, round of 16, Champions League zone in La Liga, competing for the title. Copa del Rey is going to start in January. And the team is you see it. You see that they are clicking on that same page. They are moving forward, and you just hope, don't get injured, don't face major injuries, have to stay safe, try not to get that bug, because this is where these games really matter, is the second half of the season.
That's been a difficult thing to overcome, and that's another injury, it's another extra injury that none of the other players had, it's absolutely, you're right. But, the team has been doing so well now, and I think we can keep it going. Definitely.
Sorry, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I think that it might be a common cliche to say, but I think that any player, or for every player, their best ability is their availability, and knowing that for all the off-field instances that they can control, if they can stay away from or refraining from putting themselves in positions for potential COVID exposures or something that will take them away from training, from playtime, I know that, or activities that could lead them to silly injuries that could happen, because we've seen this happen all throughout sports, and it's sad. And I know that it's such a weird year in the way every team has to react, but our players need to also, if our players were all in sync and healthy, I think the season wouldn't have been it wouldn't have been criticized as much as it might have been, because we had a rough start, yet we are there. Well, like you said, Chris, we right now we're top 3 in La Liga. We advanced as first, and now we're looking toward 2021 with much more hope and ambition, knowing that perhaps, maybe, I don't know if the team will need a major key piece or not to come in January, which typically never comes to Madrid to begin with. But just knowing that the team is not facing, elimination, or it's not facing a way underdog situation, mentally it helps the team a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Now we got the draw coming up for the round of 16 for Champions League. That's going to get going again in February. There are 4 possible opponents we may face. It'll be Porto, Lazio, Atalanta, and Leipzig, I believe, are the 4 teams. You guys, in your Peñas, start with you, Danny. Have you talked to fellow members? what is the opponent that you guys would like to face next round?
We always have these conversations, especially with the boys and the crew. We've experienced, when we underestimate a opponent, we just don't do that anymore. Whoever we get in the next round, know that it's a very difficult challenge. Again, we don't have favorites. We don't play favorites. As other teams do. I guess what I'm trying to get to is whoever we get, we know it's going to be a tough challenge. Whoever we get, we know that we have to do our homework as a team, right? And I think as far as whatever the possibilities is of getting a team from from Italy or from another league, we know what we need to do. We've seen, and I know players have seen other games in the Champions League. They know that they have to study. And again, for me, I think soccer is a study game. Any sport that you do is a study game. You study your opponent, And I think whoever they get, they have to start getting ready for that. And again, we don't like to play the whole, we're hoping we get this, because we've done it in the past. We thought Ajax was going to be an easy dub, but it wasn't. They rolled all over us, because they had a young team. They were up against us, a much experienced team, and they went all the way to the final.
Well, wait. Hey, I'm sorry, but let me jump in there for a second. We beat them in Holland 2-1. People forget that. Now, when we played them in Madrid, that was coming after a hell week that we just experienced, where we had to play semifinal Copa against Barcelona, La Liga, and against Barcelona again, and then we had at the end. I mean,
that's why I love you, brother, because you know the details, and I forgot about that. But I'm just saying, I'm just giving you an example of just our mentality coming into whoever we get. Right? It's gonna be a tough one. We know we have to do what we have to do. We need to study, and I think for us now, having that experience of the group stage, we know what we need to do, and I have full confidence in Sedan. We've talked about it with the boys and the board, and we're ready for another team to give us a tough time, but we're making sure that we do whatever we can as a team, obviously, to make the changes, and it's been going good. And I think you made a good point, Chris. Making sure that our key players are rested, for these type of games. So to answer the question, obviously, we're hoping we get a good competitor. It's not going to be easy, and it's going to get even harder. So I don't know what Cesar, I don't know what you guys talk about when you guys go up to
there was a comment, but for a different reason, to be honest. Actually, it's not that people are, and I think that everybody at this point knows, if you underestimate your opponent, you're in for a tough time, and it could be an embarrassing time if you really way underestimate your opponent. For me personally, I would like to see Leipzig, because I'm a big fan of what they did last year. I love that mentality that they have as a team. I think that the coach for Leipzig is one of those German coaches that are coming up with there's some of the ones that are over time will start changing the game a little bit and the way their approaches. And I would like to see how we fare against some of these new mentalities and tactics that are coming up, because I think that we have what it takes regardless. But I want to see how that evolves. Some of my fellow board members and even some of the people within the group were asking for Porto, and the reason for that is I feel like they have a connection with Porto for what Porto did when they received Casillas and also Pepe. So I feel like they have almost a bond with them, not because they're assuming that they might be a smaller team or not, because assuming that any of these four teams are small teams, it would be a huge mistake. I think that they all have done. They put together incredible seasons, and just go back to last season, Atalanta and Leipzig were all the way out there in quarterfinals, and they were making big teams. They were putting them on their heels. So I think that there's no small team that makes it to the Champions League, much less to the round of 16.
Now, I don't agree that Porto is a small team, because they are a former Champions League winner.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think they might be the toughest opponent out of the four.
Well, okay, the thing is, they're all four are difficult opponents, no matter what.
Absolutely.
Okay, they are, because no team that gets out of the group stage is a bad team. None of them are. Mm-hmm. They may have a bad day, but they're not a bad team. Agreed. So Atalanta, dangerous opponents, because they remind me a lot of Shakhtar Donetsk. A lot of speed, a lot of athleticism, freewheeling offense. You cut one head off, another head grows. They're an opponent that could really cause havoc for our defense, which is an older defense. I mean, we saw it against Shakhtar. Leipzig, very physical team, reminds me a lot of Monchengladbach. I think that would be a good opponent to run into. But I have to side with your fellow members. I'd have to say Porto. I would want to see Porto. The thing is that I would like, the romantic side of me is that I would love to have every former champion be the opponent we beat in Champions League.
You're a romantic, Chris. Absolutely. You are a total romantic. And I love that, man. I love that.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the draw, obviously. But I mean,
beautifully put. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm a hopeless romantic in certain aspects, but with Real Madrid, it's never hopeless.
No.
Oh, no.
Shouldn't be.
Well, gentlemen, this is fantastic. Really great. I really appreciate you guys coming on and talking about these games, talking about the team. And I mean, we are all smiling. We are all just on cloud nine for the moment. I mean, it is a lot to go, obviously, in the season, but it really helps to get these quality wins against some key opponents in La Liga and Champions League to get to round of 16. I mean, I was holding my breath after the Shakhtar Donetsk loss in Ukraine, because the possibility was there, but in the end, Zidane and Sergio. I remember telling a friend of mine from our channel who I chatted with a while back in August. I said, Zidane and Sergio will not allow it. They will not allow Madrid in Europa League. No way. No way.
It would be an insult, I think. The Madrid standard and the Madrid mentality and the DNA and the will of the player, because they're all Madridistas at heart. They know that there's no way they can ever allow that to happen. So it's La Casta Madridistas, it's known. I think it's what really made the team transition, because they came from a few dark days or a few dark games into the three best games that we have seen all year, and resolving them with such just the way they're coming at him. They're showing that they're studying their opponents and they're playing at each of their weaknesses and putting them out early. I think the fact that we have kept the goal at 0, or the fact even if they had scored at some point, if we go up above first and put the first goal in, it's just a mentality. It's just so much more relaxed than having to be chasing that goal to tie a game, that as we have seen earlier in the year. And I think that Real Madrid is starting to show who Real Madrid really is, and now the rest of Europe needs to start shaking.
Yeah, they definitely need to be mindful of that. So we've come to the end. Danny, you'd like to send a message out to all our viewers and your Peña members and Madridistas that are watching?
Yeah, absolutely. No, again, thank you for having me, Chris. Cesar, nice to see you again, brother. I mean, I just hope everybody continues to tune in to this great show. And obviously, we're still not over difficult times, but I'm sure that we're going to get there together. We are the best team in the world. We are the best fans in the world. We are the best family in the world, in my opinion. And it makes it easier to connect, through channels like Chris's, right? And having the opportunity to meet with my brothers, my fellow Madridista brothers in Cesar and all over the U.S. and all over the world. So, stay safe, stay white, stay clean, stay with the most beautiful crest in the world. And, we're going to continue to win. We're going to continue to prosper. And I hope everybody has a good and healthy holidays throughout the end. And we're going to start 2021 strong for sure.
Fantastic. Way to go. Cesar, really quickly.
Absolutely. I want to say thank you, Chris, one more time for giving me the opportunity to participate. It's always an honor to be here. I get the opportunity to chat Real Madrid with you and Danny. I mean, you guys are amazing. And to be honest, I look up to all your knowledge, and I could literally spend days just chatting Real Madrid with you both, and we wouldn't repeat a topic. So I would like to say thank you. I would like to wish you and all the Madridismo out there a very healthy and safe holiday season. I know that we're all going into this in a very different situation than in the years past, but that does not mean that we still don't get to cherish all the love and all the things we have. Just be safe, please. I know that some places may be a little more restrictive right now than others, but that doesn't mean that we all shouldn't do our part. Please wear your masks, and more than anything else, a la Madrid.
Yes.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you so much. You guys said it so very well. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year from Executive Madridismo to all the Madridistas and football lovers in general out there. We will definitely be back 2021. Stay safe out there. Celebrate responsibly with your loved ones. We will get through this together. We will follow Real Madrid as much as possible, and we are here for that. So thank you to both of you for being on. I can't wait to have you guys on again. Everyone that's watching, like us, subscribe, comment. We want to read some of this, okay? We're here for you. So cheers, a la Madrid, nada más.
A la Madrid, chicos. Love you all.